all protocol observed. Prof, what just happened now is tantamount to practicing for the Olympics final. And when you get to the ring, they tell you, you know what, you don't have to do anything. The medal is yours. You've already won. So it's both exciting, but also, there was a lot of preparation involved. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue. I'm driving to the venue on your right. We passed the University of Pretoria's dairy farm. Prof. Cooper mentioned it. I used to dread waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning to go milk cows, especially the night before when we had buy one, get one free at Herguntes in Hatfield Square. When we slept late. And right next to the campus, I spent many Sundays and Saturdays looking at plants when I was doing my master's in agronomy. I spent a lot of time honing my skills in making a killer punch northeast from here, where we used to have functions with the university like pot and ponds. So I'm very fond of this university, and it's so good to be back home in familiar grounds. And back during our time, we used to say "text of necks," and I think it was Professor Pistorius. We used to call ourselves the Innovasi Generasi. And Prof, you might ask yourself, why am I flattering you with my experience and my undying love of this institution? And I think it'll become clear later on why I'm doing this. And I think in the days of fake news and fake declaration of presidents-elect, you can take comfort, Prof, in the fact that my declaration of love for this institution is true. On the 29th of October in 2010, at the South African Reserve Bank Conference Center, the Dr. Motsuenyane Rural Development was launched. It was launched by, at that time, Minister Gugile Nkwinti, who was the Minister of Rural Development and Land Reform. Amongst the speakers, we had the then Chief Justice, Dikgamo Seneke, and amid the fanfare and excitement of the possibility of the future to uplift our people, we launched the foundation. And there was a media release, and the media release, and I quote, the media release said that the foundation was created to sort out the need and the challenges of the rural development of rural communities, in particular, in the agricultural sector. It further went on to say that the function of this institution would be to provide mentorship and advisory services to the farmers. It will provide technical assistance to the farmers. It will provide access to markets. It will provide access to finance, and it will collaborate with institutions of higher learning to look at research that can improve the lives of the rural people. And I think 10 years down the line, we ought to reflect on our experience as the foundation. And I think as a country, and do so honestly, I think it was Amilcar Cabral who said that hide nothing from the masses and claim no easy victories. So I think, and our experience as a foundation is very much similar and in line with the experience of the country. When we launched the foundation, we had a lot of successful projects that were launched. And 10 years down the line, we've seen them vanish. And Prof, we could create a new library with the research as to why the failure rate that we experienced. I think it's almost like we have this lab-like environment that the experiences that the projects that we undertook in terms of why they didn't work. And I think it also rings true for land reform. If we are very honest with ourselves in terms of 26 years down the line, in terms of our success rate with land reform, we unfortunately do not have the luxury of time. I think our people are drowning in poverty. And whilst for the past 26 years we had the luxury to have the fallacy of living in a cloud and coming up with fancy ideas, I think with COVID-19, the violent scream of poverty of our people has been even made louder by the floodgates that are opened by this pandemic. Before the lockdown, we had 12 million people in South Africa that went to bed hungry every day. It's still mind-boggling to understand that number, that 12 million people went to bed hungry every evening before the lockdown. And I shudder to think what the number looks like after the lockdown. The reality is that poverty is a very harsh, extreme crime against humanity. And we ought to, as a people, really think about what it means in terms of humility and ubuntu, and our efforts as a people to eradicate poverty and lift our people out of poverty. And those are some of the themes that rings true to the foundation and the work that the foundation does. We have over 20 million South Africa that live on tribal land, and at the heart of what the foundation stands for and what the foundation does is how do we economically productively use land that is available, particularly in the tribal land. This is land that is already there. We don't have to have all kinds of philosophical debates about land and its use, but I think from a human point of view, given the glaring poverty statistics that I've just mentioned, what is it that we are doing in our day-to-day lives as human beings to be extend the gratitude of relief to our fellow human beings in the issue of food security? As I said, 12 million people, that number, it really it bothers me a lot that we had 12 million people that went to bed hungry. And the problem in South Africa is not that we don't produce enough food. We do actually produce enough food. So the issue is affordability, the issue is poverty. And when we have the bulk of the poor staying in the rural communities, it then begs that we then look at rural development as the core measure and activity that we ought to undertake as a country to help our people. And that has been the effort of the foundation. And I was with Dr. Sam last week. We had a meeting. Dr. Sam is 93 years old, and it was a Friday. We had a meeting, and he had a meeting on Saturday and Sunday. And we often have to remind him that he needs to slow down. But, he's so concerned about the development of our people that at 93, he takes meetings Monday to Sunday. And I think we as the youth have to start thinking about what is it that we're doing to improve the lives of our people. And Prof, now to why I was flattering you with my love for this institution. And remember, I said it still rings true that I love this institution. And thank you, you've done the heavy lifting for me. Mine was to convince you to, one, give us a home, and thank you that you've undertaken to work with the foundation. In our discussion with Dr. Sam last week, I said to him, the question of land in South Africa is a very emotional issue, and it's inextricably linked to the history of South Africa. So South Africa is the history of land, and land is South Africa in essence from the very beginning. And I think given that we've seen how Europe was lifted out of poverty, Dr. Sam likes telling a story of the manorial system of the Lord of the Manor, which is very similar conditions to what we find ourselves in South Africa, where the title deed, the access to title deed empowered a lot of the people and lifted Europe out of poverty. And through that discussion, we said, you need a land institution in this country. And this land institution, as you were mentioning that you are extending a longer welcome to the foundation, we hope that we will be able to discuss the issue of the Land Institute further. And what the Land Institute, with the discussion that we had with the Omen and how we think and we view it, is that this institute needs to collate all the research that the universities are doing. And as the foundation, we hope together with the University of Pretoria that we will house this Land Institute that will bring forth all the research, but not just theoretical research, but also, Prof, you spoke about practical research that speaks to the questions that we face as a country, that comes up with practical solutions that we're able to implement to uplift our people. So we look forward to that, and I hope this will be the beginning that 30 years from now on we can say we've created 100 PhD students that came up with solutions. We need to create social entrepreneurs like Mohammed Janous that created the Gremlin Banking that comes up with solutions where business is used to also solve social problems. And we see this Land Institute also drawing to the private sector. We need that collaboration. As the foundation, we work with a lot of people. There's always this notions of left, right, and the middle center, but our view is that the issue of land is only going to be solved through collaboration. We've got the Transvaal Agricultural Union that comes and visit us. We have AFASA, Agri-SA, NAFU. We've got all these different organizations that comes with us. And I think it's the private sector that's set with the skills. So we appeal to the private sector to come to the party, to work with us in the University of Pretoria on the Land Institute to come up with solutions. And we look forward to a very fruitful relationship with the University of Pretoria. And may we look forward years from now on, and rest with peace, knowing that we've done everything that we can do to better and improve the lives of our people. Thank you.